Today we're creating a tech house song from scratch, and the finished results sound like this.
Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let's go.
My name's Karra, and I'm an artist, songwriter, and music producer, and welcome to my home studio. I know what you're thinking. What the is she wearing? Well, that's none of your business, but what is your business is this tech house song with vocals that we're creating from scratch in Ableton 12. I'm walking you through every step from the initial inspiration to drums, synths, sampling, arrangement, vocal stacks, mixing, and mastering. We're going all the way from a blank Ableton 12 project to my finished song Lazy that you can stream now on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. I'm gonna sing the worst song I could think of into the most expensive mic in my studio.
Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
But hey, that's actually pretty catchy, and it's a great starting point for our song.
Hands in the air, getting wild, and let me see you dance, put your
Oh, and by the way, if you're a music producer and you want vocal samples just like this, download my newest vocal sample pack, Karra Vocals 1, only at iamkarra.com.
bitch, don't be lazy.
I like to record 2 or 3 takes of everything to make sure I nailed it.
Bitch, don't be lazy.
When I'm making a tech house vocal sample, I like to make the audio feel extra choppy by cutting out all the breaths and empty space in between words. I don't ordinarily edit my vocals this aggressively, but these aren't going to be ordinary vocals.
See you dance, put your hands in the air.
The first plugin I want to add is Ableton Stock Saturation to emulate the grit of an overdriven mic preamp, then tame the harsh frequencies with the FabFilter Pro de-esser. I always use this plugin on the default setting, but reduce the range to keep it smooth and subtle.
Dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
Because next, we're adding OTT. This preset combines upwards and downwards compression for that extreme squeezed effect. I like to increase the upwards compression in each band by sliding these 3 teal lines to the right, then reduce the OTT amount and final output level for that dynamically squeezed compression that Ableton is very famous for in EDM.
Dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
But this next plugin is what really transforms our vocal into a tech house vibe. Manipulator by Polyverse is like LittleAlterBoy on steroids, and the factory preset menu is filled with bangers.
Hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
Let me see you
Let's scroll through a few to find the perfect preset.
getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands.
These are all super saucy. It's hard to choose sometimes.
Bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air.
This one called Be a Monster is exactly what I'm looking for.
Be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
Speaking of lazy, the next plugin we're gonna add is CLA Vocals, baby. This plugin does everything, but I only want to use the final spreader module for extra stereo width.
In the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
To finish off this unconventional vocal chain, I want to add a sidechain effect using ShaperBox 3 by CableGuys. This sidechain preset does exactly what I want.
Your hands in the air.
Switch to the faster curve for a tighter pumping effect, and reduce the mix knob to around 65%.
Your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
I think this vocal sample is ready for some drums. I'm constantly switching between vocals, drums, and synths as I produce songs. This keeps me focused on the bigger picture instead of overthinking one element for too long. One of my favorite drum samplers in Ableton is called Impulse. This has 8 slots you can load with your favorite samples and play together like a mini drum kit. Next, let's add a clap from one of my most used drum kits, Raw Hits 3, available at wholeloops.com. Everything is organized and categorized to help you find the perfect one-shot or loop for your beat. Let's drag a clap into the second slot in Impulse.
Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting
And record a pattern for each drum.
bitch, don't be lazy.
And an open hi-hat.
Put your hands
be lazy. Don't be lazy. So let's arrange the stutter pattern I'm hearing in my head using my vocal sample.
Don't be lazy.
To create a pitched up stutter effect, I'm going to copy and paste the first syllable using the grid. Warp every piece using the complex algorithm. Then transpose each piece to a different number from -5 semitones back up to 0 in chromatic steps. This part can feel tedious, but it sounds way cooler than a basic copy-paste stutter.
Lazy.
I hear a clap playing on the backbeats as the vocal loops and builds up into the next section of our beat.
Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Wild and wavy, bitch. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy.
Next, I want to create a groove in this 4-to-the-floor pattern by adding some toms. Hey, this already sounds fire. Now that we have some vocals and drums, let's add a synth by Native Instruments called Massive X. Even though this plugin has a million knobs, I barely touch any of them because the preset menu is so good. I'm looking for a gritty and bendy sawtooth bass sound to be the main synth in my drop. This preset called Barely Dead is exactly what I'm looking for. Now I'm gonna play the simplest 2-note melody I can think of.
Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy.
This somehow sounds very bad, but very good at the same time.
Put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
To process this synth, I'm just gonna add another ShaperBox 3 for that same sidechain pumping effect as the vocal. This makes your kicks feel extra bumping when everything else is ducking on beat.
Hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy.
This lead has lots of mids and high frequencies, but I want to add a lower layer for sub-bass. My favorite sample pack for bass is Disrespectful 808s, which features 5 volumes of bass one-shots, pre-organized and tuned to the key of C for easy sampling. I'm going to use the same exact MIDI and ShaperBox 3 settings as the bass above to help unify them as one big bass sound. To make this 808 feel more dynamic, I'm going to lower the sustain and decay in my sampler envelopes. And now it's a vibe. My bass line has some big gaps in between the notes, which we're going to fill in with some plucky bass sounds. Nexus has some awesome factory sounds, plus a much easier learning curve than oscillator bass synths like Massive X. Go to the house category, bass, and scroll down to the donk bass, 'cause you know I got a donk. Let's record some filler notes to create a call and response between our bass sounds.
Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air.
Hearing this beat more filled out is giving me fresh ideas for another vocal sample. Let's go, let's move it. I came to throw some ass, pump up the music, got liquor in my glass. Go, go, let's move it. I came to throw some ass, go dumb, go stupid. Woo! To process these new vocals differently, I'm going to swap saturation for a way more aggressive distortion plugin in Ableton 12 called Roar. I love using it in parallel mode to blend modern noise injection distortion flavors with traditional tube distortion flavors.
The music, can lick it in my glass. Don't go, let's move it. I came to throw some ass. Calm down, go stupid.
Each saturation stage in Roar has its own amount knob to customize the intensity of each flavor.
Music, can lick it in my glass. Don't go, let's move it.
This extra distortion also helps it blend with the synth without being overpowered. Let's get back into synths and open up Serum on a new MIDI track. I have loads of third-party presets installed, but I always find myself using the factory synth presets the most. I want a big detuned pad for a new section of my beat, and this first preset, Analog Brass, is my go-to. I love how the cutoff filter is controlled by my note velocity. This makes the synth feel extra expressive and fun to play. Next, I add ValhallaRoom in an audio effect rack to use it as a parallel effect send. And this synth lead is sounding huge. It's been a while since we've worked on drums, so let's create some fills and transitional patterns to attach these two sections. I use Command F to search for snares and browse all the samples in my personal collection for the perfect 808 snare sound. And play some 16th notes as a fill and quantize them 100%.
Dumb, go stupid.
I did it with the fingernails. Next, let's add bleepy bloopy laser sounds by searching for laser samples with Command F and dragging my favorites into my session to act as ear candy and transitional elements. I'm gonna do the same to find crash cymbals and samples to add more impact to my downbeats and drum fills. I like using big crashes on the main downbeats and smaller crashes every 4 to 8 bars. Sound effects like explosions, uplifters, downlifters, and reverse cymbals make great transitional elements as well. Moving back to drums, I'm gonna search for house loops to find a percussion loop that matches my track. I found a perfect loop in a Vengeance sample pack that added low and high cut filters, plus a flanger to make the loop feel like background percussion during our track's break and build up. Now that our build-up section is arranged, let's find a new synth that we can gradually grow and open up the filter. I heard lots of good sounds in Massive X, so let's duplicate our other lead and choose a new preset and pattern. Sometimes I like to browse my preset menus from the bottom up to find sounds I haven't heard in a while. Like this preset called Expense. I play softer notes at the beginning, then grow in velocity as the build-up progresses. Next, I want some male vocals to contrast the tone of my voice, so I hit up my friend Nash Overstreet to take it to the next level.
Do it, do it, do it. Get off the wall, get out your seat, get on the floor.
And mixed vocals.
Get off the wall, get out your seat, get on the floor, and dance with me.
And he clearly understood the assignment. I And this is what Nash's vocals sound like before processing.
Oh, yeah. What the hell you waiting for?
And after.
Oh, yeah. What the hell you waiting for? Oh, yeah. What the hell you waiting for?
Nash's new vocals are giving me an idea for an alternate melody. So let's create some pre-mixed channels to record onto using my Karra for Ableton vocal template, available at imkarra.com. Dragging in channels from your sidebar gives you access to all your channels pre-processed, leveled, and panned to sound like a polished vocal mix as quickly as possible. Let's record a group vocal effect by ourselves by layering lead vocals, doubles, harmonies, and low octaves for extra body. Everything gets recorded twice and panned left and right for width. Stacking all these harmonies really gets me in my zone. Now, let's record some extra vocals to introduce during the second half of our drop.
Get off the wall, get out your seat, and dance with me. Get off the wall, get out your seat, and dance with me. Get off the wall, get out your seat,
And add some doubles for a big vocal stack behind our lead vocal.
get off the wall, get out your seat, get on the floor, and dance with me. Get off the wall, get out your seat.
The stock plugins in my Ableton template sound exactly how I like them, but I want to add a plugin that makes my group vocals feel like an even bigger group. Antari's Avox Choir is a hidden gem that helps multiply your voices in the mix. I love using audio effects racks as a shortcut for parallel processing to blend my wet and dry signals into a single channel. Simply increase the pitch and vibrato variation to increase the detuned effect.
Dance with me.
Another special effect I want to add to these stacks is some tremolo, using the stock Auto Pan plugin in Ableton. Add it to the group after your audio effect rack, then turn down the phase and shape, and automate the amount and rate knobs to taste, for cool wobbly effects you hear all the time in electronic music.
Dance with me.
Now that we've added all of our vocals, synths, drums, effects, and customized our arrangement, let's tie everything together with a master limiter to get this track sounding as loud as possible. My favorite limiter that gets used the most in my sessions is FabFilter Pro L.
Hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let us
Switch to the dynamic algorithm for a slightly punchier sound,
wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy.
and you've got perfect industry standard loudness at -7 or -8 LUFS. So now that we've produced our beat, recorded our vocals, added processing to tie everything together, let's turn up our speakers and take a final listen to my finished song, Lazy.
Don't be lazy.
Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let me see you dance, put your hands in the air, getting wild and wavy, bitch, don't be lazy. Let's go, let's move it. I came to throw some ass, pump up the music, lick it in my glass. Don't go, let's move it. I came to throw some ass, pump down, go stupid.
Do it, do it, do it. Get on the wall, get on your seat, get on the floor, and dance with
So there you have it, a tech house beat from scratch in Ableton 12. It's amazing how good you can sound with some simple lyrical ideas, synth and plugin presets, and a fun arrangement. If you want to get your hands on the drum samples I used to make this beat, visit wholeloops.com or check out my stock vocal template for Ableton or any other DAW you like at iamkarra.com. And don't forget to check out my collection of 100% royalty-free vocal samples for your use and release in your next track. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time in another session.